In the bustling chaos of Lagos at night, where the city's heartbeat slows but never stops, Amina gripped the steering wheel of her old Danfo bus, her knuckles white against the cracked vinyl. She was a mother of 3 little ones who depended on her every naira, every weary mile she drove through the shadowed streets. By day, she juggled market stalls and endless errands, but by night, she became the captain of this rattling vessel, ferrying souls from the vibrant markets of Ikeja to the quiet suburbs beyond. The air was thick with the scent of diesel and fried plantain from roadside vendors, and the hum of generators echoed like distant thunder. Amina's life was a grind, a powerful struggle against poverty's relentless grip. Her husband had vanished years ago, leaving her with debts that piled up like the traffic on Third Mainland Bridge. She drove to survive, to feed her children, Zainab, the curious 8-year-old dreamer, Karim, the mischievous 6-year-old, and baby Fatima, barely 2, who cried for her mama in the arms of a neighbor each night. The incentives were clear: every passenger meant food on the table, school fees paid, a step away from eviction. But tonight felt different. The moon hung low, casting eerie silver light on the potholed roads. Amina pulled up at her first stop, the dimly lit junction near Oshodi Market. Passengers trickled in, tire traders, night shift workers, a couple whispering secrets. Then, he boarded. Tall, cloaked in a warm kaftan, his face half hidden by a fedora that seemed out of place in the humid Nigerian night. He paid with crisp notes, more than the fare, and sat in the back, silent as a shadow. Amina glanced in the rearview mirror, her heart skipping a beat. There was something familiar about his eyes, dark, haunted, like her own reflection after a sleepless night. As the bus rumbled on, the city lights flickered like fireflies. Amina called out stops in her firm voice, "Next, Yoba. Hold tight, eh." But her mind wandered to her own secrets, buried deep. The abuse from her husband, the shame she carried like a hidden scar, the dreams she'd sacrificed for survival. The passenger didn't speak, but she felt his gaze on her. At a red light, he leaned forward. "You drive alone at night? Brave woman." His voice was smooth, accented with a hint of the north, like her late father's. Amina stiffened. "I do what I must. For my children." He nodded, pulling out a small locket from his pocket, fiddling with it absent-mindedly. The bus hit a bump, and the locket flew forward, landing at Amina's feet. She picked it up later, during a brief stop, and gasped. Inside was a photo of a young woman who looked just like her, same sharp cheekbones, same defiant stare. Who was this man? Her pulse raced as she handed it back. "Yours." He smiled faintly. "A ghost from the past." The night deepened, plot twisting like the winding roads. A sudden rainstorm lashed the windows, turning the streets into rivers. Passengers grumbled, but the mysterious man remained calm, sharing a quiet story about a lost love in Kano, mirroring Amina's own heartbreak. "She drove away her pain, just like you," he said. Amina felt a chill. How did he know? As they approached the bridge, a police checkpoint loomed. The officers, corrupt and demanding, waved her down. "Papers. And something extra for the night." Amina fumbled, her wallet thin. But the passenger intervened, slipping a wad of cash to the officer with a whisper. They let her go. "Why?" she asked him. He shrugged. "We all have debts to pay." Excitement built as the bus emptied, leaving only him. At the final stop, he didn't alight. Instead, he said, "I'll ride again tomorrow. There's more to tell." Amina watched him vanish into the fog, her mind reeling. Was he a guardian angel or a harbinger of trouble? As she drove home, thunder cracked, and she discovered a note in her pocket, his handwriting, "Our paths are the same. Beware the shadows." Her heart pounded. What secrets did he hold that mirrored hers? And why did it feel like her life was about to unravel? The neon glow of Lagos pierced the rain-slicked night as Amina revved the engine of her fateful downfall, her thoughts a whirlwind from the previous encounter. Her children slept soundly at home, under the watchful eye of her sister, but Amina's mind was far from rest. The mysterious passenger, she hadn't even caught his name, had ignited a spark of curiosity mixed with fear. Her struggle was real, bills mounting, Zainab needing new shoes, Karim's school fees overdue. Driving this bus was her lifeline, a powerful incentive to push through exhaustion. But now, an undercurrent of excitement pulsed through her veins. Who was he? And that locket, the woman inside looked too much like her mother, long gone. As passengers boarded, chattering about the day's gossip, Amina scanned the crowd. There he was, at the Oshadi stop again, his fedora casting shadows over his face. He boarded with the same quiet grace, paying generously. "Evening, driver," he murmured, taking his seat. The bus lurched forward, weaving through traffic jams where Okodas zipped like angry bees. Amina stole glances in the mirror. Tonight, she resolved to probe. "You said our paths are the same. What do you mean?" He chuckled softly. "Patience, Amina." Her name, how did he know? Twist 1, her grip tightened. "Who are you?" "Call me Malik. A traveler, like you." The plot accelerated as Malik began to weave his tale. "I once had a family in Kano. A wife, strong like you, who fought for her children. But secrets tore us apart." His words mirrored Amina's life, the husband who beat her, the nights she fled with the kids, hiding in bus depots. She drove buses too, to escape, Malik continued. Amina felt exposed, her emotional scars itching. Cliffhanger loomed as they hit a detour, armed robbers blocking the road ahead, a common Lagos peril. Passengers panicked, but Malik stood, calm. "Drive through the alley," he whispered. She did, heart racing, evading the threat. "How did you know?" "I've been here before." Deeper into the night, twist unfolded. Malik revealed a scar on his hand, identical to one Amina got from a childhood accident. "Coincidence," she scoffed. But then he dropped a bomb. "Your mother didn't die in that market fire. She left, to protect you from your father's deaths." Amina's world spun. Her mother, alive. The incentive to uncover truth surged, battling her fear. As the bus emptied, Malik handed her an old photo, her as a child, with a man who looked like him. "Uncle," she gasped. He nodded. "But there's more. A inheritance, hidden. Ride with me tomorrow, and I'll show you." Rain pounded as Amina dropped him off, but a shadowy figure watched from the bushes. Who was following them? Back home, she found her door ajar. Someone had rifled through her things. A note, "Stay away from him." Her struggle intensified, emotional healing dangled like a carrot, but danger lurked. What powerful forces opposed their reunion? Lagos pulsed with electric energy under the starry sky, but Amina's nerves were frayed like the wires of her boss's dashboard. The revelations from Malik, her long-lost uncle, had shattered her fragile peace. Her children sensed her tension. Zainab asked, "Mama, why so quiet?" Amina forced a smile, hugging them tight. The incentives burned brighter. Financial freedom whispered through Malik's hints of inheritance. But the struggle was fierce. Creditors called, threatening repossession of the bus. She had to drive, to unravel this mystery. At the stop, Malik boarded, his eyes sharper tonight. "Trouble followed you home?" he asked. Twist, he knew about the break-in. "How?" "Old enemies. Your father owed money to dangerous men. I fled Kano to escape them." The bus rolled on, passengers oblivious to the drama. Malik shared more. "Your mother faked her death, gave me the family fortune to safeguard. It's yours now, for healing, for freedom. Amina's heart soared, but doubt crept in. Why now? Pace quickened with a sudden flat tire in a desolate area. As Amina fixed it, shadows emerged, thugs demanding the old man's death. Malik fought back, revealing martial skills from his past. They escaped, but Amina was shaken. Who are they? Loan sharks from our family's dark history. Cliffhanger, at a stop, a woman boarded, elegant but desperate. Malik. It's me, your sister. Amina's mother. Alive. The reunion was electric, tears flowing as the bus idled. But twist two, the woman confessed, I sent the note. To protect you from him. Malik protested, lies. Chaos ensued, passengers fled as arguments raged. Amina, torn, drove on, her mind a storm. Emotional healing cracked open, but betrayal loomed. As they parted, gunshots echoed in the distance. Who fired? And what was the real inheritance, a treasure or a trap? The humid Lagos night wrapped around Amina's bus like a shroud, her thoughts fracturing under the weight of revelations. Her mother, alive, named Fatima like her youngest, had boarded last night, accusing Malik of deceit. The struggle peaked. Amina juggled motherhood, driving, and this web of family secrets. Incentives pulled her, financial freedom to escape poverty, emotional closure for her scarred heart. But twist abounded, pace relentless. Malik returned, bruised from the gunshots. Your mother lies. She's the one who stole the inheritance. The bus hummed through crowded streets, horns blaring. Fatima boarded mid-route, escalating tension. He's a con man, Amina. Your real uncle died years ago. Proof. A faded document showing Malik's alias. A passenger overheard, revealing himself as a detective. Both are suspects in a Kano fraud. Action surged, a chase through Lagos traffic, thugs in pursuit. Amina swerved, evading capture. Malik confessed partial truth, I am your uncle, but I hid the money to protect it from her greed. Fatima countered, he wants it for himself. Emotional layers peeled, Amina's abuse mirrored her mother's past. Healing began in shared pain. Twist 3, at a hidden warehouse, they uncovered the inheritance, gold bars worth millions. But booby-trapped. Explosives ticked. They escaped narrowly, but Fatima vanished with a bar. Betrayal. As Amina dropped Malik, he whispered, trust no one. Tomorrow, the final piece. Gunman ambushed her home, kids in danger. Who to believe in this powerful struggle? Dawn's light barely pierced the smog as Amina prepared her bus, but last night's ambush haunted her. Thugs had targeted her home, but neighbors scared them off. Her children trembled. Zainab clung, Mama, don't go. The incentives word, quit for safety, or pursue freedom. Emotional healing dangled, confronting mirrors of her past abuse through family ties. Struggle intensified, pace breakneck. Malik and Fatima both boarded, alliance fragile. Truce, Malik said. The real enemy is the loan shark syndicate. Twist flew, Fatima admitted partial theft, Malik his deceptions. The bus became a confessional, rolling through Lagos's underbelly. A tip-off led to the syndicate's lair, but it was a set-up, ambush. Fights erupted, Amina wielding a wrench like a warrior. Revelations, the syndicate leader was her ex-husband, alive and vengeful. You took everything, he snarled. Powerful struggle climaxed, Amina faced her abuser, incentives Crystal, healed by defeating him. They subdued him, uncovering documents proving the inheritance legitimate. But twist 4, Fatima double-crossed, grabbing the gold. Chase ensued across the bridge. Amina cornered her, tears flowing. Why? To protect you from this life. Healing moment, forgiveness amid chaos. As police arrived, Malik vanished. Was he ghost or ally? The night ended with Amina holding a key to a safe, financial freedom near, but at what cost? The first hints of dawn were bleeding across the Lagos sky, turning the thick haze into a soft golden glow, as Amina gripped the steering wheel of her old Danfo one final time. This was the midnight route, but tonight it felt like the last lap of a race she had been running for years. Her children, Zainab, Karim, and little Fatima, were safe at her sister's compound in Surale, fast asleep and unaware that their mother's world was about to change forever. The key Malik had pressed into her hand the night before weighed heavily in her pocket, cool metal against her palm. It was the key to a private safe deposit box in an old bank on Broad Street, the final piece of the inheritance puzzle that had torn her family apart and then, miraculously, stitched it back together. Amina's heart still pounded from the chaos of the previous nights, the chases across Third Mainland Bridge, the gunshots in the warehouse, the gut-wrenching revelation that her ex-husband, Tond, had faked his own death to steal the family fortune. She had faced him down at the airport terminal just hours ago, flanked by Malik and her mother Fatima. The police had taken Tond away in handcuffs, his scarred face twisted in rage as he shouted empty threats. The gold bars, her rightful inheritance from her late father's legitimate business dealings in Kano, were recovered and secured. Financial freedom was no longer a distant dream, it was real, tangible, almost within reach. But emotional healing? That was slower, deeper. Amina still carried the bruises of old abuse, the nights she had hidden with the children in bus depots, the shame she had buried under endless shifts behind the wheel. Yet in confronting Tond, in hearing her mother's tearful apologies, in Malik's quiet protection, something inside her heart finally cracked open. Forgiveness was not weakness, it was the only way to stop carrying the past on her back. The bus rattled toward the Oshodi stop where everything had begun. Amina half expected the seats to remain empty on this final ride, but two familiar figures were waiting under the flickering streetlights, Malik in his worn kaftan and fedora, leaning on a walking stick to favor the wound he had taken shielding her from Tond's men, and her mother Fatima, elegant even at this hour in a simple bubu gown, her graying hair tucked neatly beneath a scarf. They boarded without a word, taking the seats directly behind the driver as they had done so many times this week. The bus was otherwise empty, the city was still half asleep, and Amina had chosen this quiet hour deliberately. This journey belonged to the four of them now, Amina, Malik, Fatima, and the ghost they were finally laying to rest. "You didn't have to come," Amina said softly as she pulled away from the cab. "The bank opens at 8. I could have gone alone." Malik's low chuckle filled the quiet cabin. "And missed the ending of the story." "Never. Besides, someone has to make sure you actually claim what is yours instead of giving it all away to charity on the spot." Fatima reached forward and rested a gentle hand on Amina's shoulder. "He's right, my daughter. You have spent years giving everything to others, your children, your passengers, even strangers on the road. Today, you take something for yourself. For them." Amina swallowed the lump in her throat. The streets slid by in a familiar blur, the sleepy market of Mushin, the silent lagoons reflecting the rising sun, the distant hum of early Okoda starting their engines. She drove slowly, savoring the rhythm of the gears, the familiar creak of the suspension over potholes. This bus had been her prison and her salvation. Tonight, she would say goodbye to it. They spoke little at first, letting the city wake around them. Then Fatima began, her voice steady but thick with emotion. "I owe you the full truth, Amina. When your father died, the debts were real, but so was the money he left behind, profits from years of honest trade. Tond convinced me he would protect us. But he wanted it all. When I realized what he planned, I faked the market fire story and fled to Benin Republic with Malik's help. I thought distance would keep you safe. I was wrong. I left you to carry the burden alone, and I will regret that every day of my life." Malik nodded. "I stayed away too long as well. I watched from a distance, sent money when I could, but I should have come for you sooner. Cowardice wears many faces. Amina glanced at them in the rearview mirror, eyes shining. You both came when it mattered most. That's what counts. And you gave me back my mother. That's worth more than gold. The bank on Broad Street appeared ahead, its colonial columns bathed in morning light. Amina parked the bus carefully, almost tenderly, and switched off the engine. For a moment, none of them moved. Then Malik stood, wincing slightly. Come. Let us finish this. Inside the cool, marble-floored lobby, the manager recognized the key immediately, an old family account dormant for 15 years. He led them to the vault in respectful silence. Amina's hand trembled only slightly as she inserted the key and opened the heavy door of the deposit box. Inside lay not just the recovered gold bars from the night before, already transferred here under police escort, but documents, title deeds, share certificates, and a thick envelope addressed to her in her father's handwriting. She opened it with reverence. My dearest Amina. If you are reading this, then the worst has passed. I built this not for myself, but for you and your children. Use it wisely. Build something that lasts. Forgive your mother, she acted out of love. And remember, strength is not in never falling, but in rising every time. Your father. Tears fell freely now. Fatima embraced her, and Malik placed a proud hand on her shoulder. The manager discreetly withdrew, giving them privacy. When they emerged into the sunlight an hour later, papers signed and accounts transferred, Amina felt lighter than she had in decades. The fortune was substantial, enough to clear every debt, buy a comfortable home, secure the children's education through university, and still leave plenty to invest. But she had already decided how to use the first portion. 3 months later. The new depot in Yoba bustled with activity under the afternoon sun. A fleet of bright, modern coaster buses gleamed in neat rows, each painted with the name Amina Transports, safe rides for women drivers. Amina stood at the gate in a crisp uniform blouse, watching as 20 newly hired female drivers, all single mothers like she once was, completed their training session. Zainab and Karim ran between the buses, laughing, while little Fatima toddled after them clutching a toy steering wheel. Fatima, grandmother now, sat on a bench under a mango tree, smiling at the scene. Malik leaned nearby, his wand long-heeled, sipping tea and looking content for the first time in years. Amina had sold the old Danfo to a museum of Lagos history, where it sat proudly displayed as the bus that carried hope. She still drove occasionally, but only the morning school runs now, short, joyful routes filled with children's chatter instead of midnight dangers. One of the new drivers, a young woman named Bose with 3 children of her own, approached hesitantly. Madam Amina, thank you. This job, it changes everything for us. Amina hugged her. Pay it forward when you can. That's all I ask. As the sun dipped low, painting the sky in fire oranges, Amina walked to the edge of the depot and looked out over the city she loved, the chaotic, vibrant, unforgiving Lagos that had tested her and, in the end, set her free. She whispered to the evening breeze, "This is the last bus home." And for the first time in years, she truly believed it. The end.